FRISCO, trying to calculate the right contract extension for Dallas Cowboys QB Dak Prescott requires a passionless approach and an understanding that among all those zeros might actually be some ghosts. So for a moment ignore your temptation to take a side in Doc sucks versus Doc is a franchise superstar, and be math-pragmatic and football-pragmatic. Start with yet another factoid that is barely worth arguing anymore. Stephen "Softball" Jones announcing the team's plans to give it up for Doc, and not next off-season, but rather, now. And what you end up with, using the big calculator from colleague and pal Bobby Belt, is that Doc this off-season signs what the headlines will scream is a 5-year extension, B, for $28 million annually, with C, $85 million guaranteed, that D totals $140 million. At first glance, that seems like a lot. After all, it would elevate Prescott into the top 5 NFL players in both the categories of average salary and total guaranteed, thus triggering a pair of concerns from critics. Concern 1, he's not a top 5 NFL player. Which is certainly true, if you choose to look at it in that linear manner. Concern 2, such a deal will cause the Cowboys to be stuck without financial flexibility for half a decade. Which does not have to be true. As Belt suggests with very specific numbers, what if you could structure a 5-year extension for Prescott at top 5 money, thus providing agent Todd France, who is in Indy this weekend, scheduled to visit with Cowboys officials while at the NFL Combine, with a hooray moment, while also using the commonplace tool of allowing Dallas escape hatches beginning in 2021? Using the model envisioned here, if 1 year into his extension the Cowboys determine they've made a mistake, they can cut him after 2020 and ahead of that new league year and only find themselves upside down for $12 mil. And after that, in ensuing years, they'll actually be able to attain cap savings. Here is a way you could structure a 5-year extension for Dak Prescott at top 5 money. This is not an unrealistic or uncommon structure for a quarterback deal. Yearly outs for Dallas beginning in 2021, signing Doc to a top 5 contract doesn't have to cripple them. Pic.twitter.com/VGGBBNday, Bobby Belt, at BobbyBeltTX, February 22, 2019. Note, the lower numbers represent the sliding years if Dallas sticks with the deal. Obviously, this isn't the team's goal with such a deal. The plan would be for Doc to excel in 2019 and in 2020 and beyond. But if he doesn't, there are eventual escapes, starting after year 2, and there are contract exits in years 3, 4 and 5 as well. Is $28 million per year too much? Presently, 15 NFL quarterbacks average more than $20 million per season. Is this going rate for a veteran starter on a long-term deal? Oh, and as Bobby notes in this chart, those escape hatches are common, too. Furthermore, it won't be this going rate anymore in a few years. As Belt notes, Carolina's Cam Newton received the second most guaranteed money for a QB when he signed less than 4 years ago. He ranks 12th now. And here comes Russell Wilson in Seattle, and here comes Marcus Mariota in Tennessee, both up in 2020, and the going rate is going to swell. And then it'll swell again the next year when Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz and Newton are up. And again in 2022 when Andrew Luck, Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson and Mitch Trubisky are up. So, top 5 now will shortly mean top 12. Is Doc destined, in the next few years, to be a top 12 QB? And if you think he's not, well, Dallas has those escape hatches. The biggest place where a fairly standard idea gets messed up in public discussion: guaranteed money. The truth about these contracts is that only the signing bonus is truly, fully guaranteed. Beyond that, with the exception of Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, every other player is subject to his guarantee going away by a given date before a given season, if the team opts to let him go. So Doc's $85 million guaranteed isn't that at all. In Belt's example, Cowboys can divorce Doc before, say, the 2021 season, and the $23 mil he's due that year plus the $13 mil he's due the next year become non-existent. We should develop a new team for what really goes on with these contracts. GWAA asterisk. Guaranteed with an asterisk, maybe. The Cowboys found a way, via their lucky, smart drafting of Doc, to employ a long-term starting QB who has been a bargain for 3 years. And now can employ him long-term again on a contract that isn't about kicking the can, or cap hell, the twin bugaboos of Cowboys critics, and isn't about being trapped, while most teams end up sticking with their guys, because QBs are hard to find. This common contractual technique is actually the opposite of trapped. As Belt writes, signing Doc to a top-5 contract doesn't have to cripple the Cowboys. There would be a price to be paid for being wrong, but it's not a cap-hell price. In essence, it's basically a one-time, one-off $12 mil penalty. And there would be a gigantic advantage gained for being right. To go along with what will look like a gigantic contract, if only for a time, and not counting GWAA asterisk.